We made the mistake of river cruising in peak summer once. Never again. Here's why shoulder season offers better weather, fewer crowds, and deeper cultural experiences for couples. Look, timing your river cruise isn't just about avoiding crowds, though that's a huge benefit. It's about getting a completely different quality of experience. Hi, I'm Eric, and after river cruising in different seasons, I can tell you, when you go matters just as much as where you go. Today, I'm breaking down exactly when to river cruise Europe for the best experience. I'm sharing what we learned from our peak summer mistake and why we now exclusively cruise in shoulder season, and how to choose the right time based on what you want from your trip. If you're planning a river cruise and wondering when to book, this is going to save you from making the same mistakes we did. Let me tell you about our July river cruise on the Rhine. On paper, it looked perfect. Summer weather, long daylight hours, peak travel season. In reality, it was our least favorite river cruise experience. Here's what peak summer actually looked like. Every castle we visited was packed with tour groups. We'd arrive at a charming village, and the streets were wall-to-wall tourists. The restaurants were overwhelmed. The shops were chaotic. And here's the thing that really got us. We weren't experiencing authentic local culture. We were experiencing tourist season. The locals were stressed and busy. The villages felt more like theme parks than real communities. Everything was geared toward processing as many tourists as possible. We came home and said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So we did some research. We talked to experienced river cruisers. We studied crowd patterns and weather data. And the next time we booked, we went in late April, shoulder season. And it was like experiencing a completely different type of travel. Let me break it down exactly why shoulder season, which is April to early June and then September to October, offers the best river cruise experience. This is the biggest difference. In shoulder season, you're not fighting crowds everywhere you go. When we toured Rothenburg in late April, we could actually walk through the medieval streets without being shoulder to shoulder with other tourists. We could stop and take photos. We could browse shops without feeling rushed. The shore excursions had smaller groups. The local guides had time to answer questions. The restaurants weren't overwhelmed. And here's what that created. We actually got to experience the culture. We talked to locals who weren't stressed and exhausted from peak season. We saw how these villages really function. That authenticity, that feeling of discovering real places instead of tourist attractions, it's what makes river cruising special. And you lose it in peak summer. Now I know you're thinking, but won't the weather be worse in shoulder season? And here's the truth. Shoulder season weather is often better than peak summer. In July and August, Europe gets hot, like uncomfortably hot. You're walking through villages in 90-degree heat. You're trying to enjoy outdoor dining, but you're sweating. The ship's air conditioning is working overtime. In shoulder season, the temperatures are perfect. Late April and May give you 60s and 70s. September and October are similar. That's ideal for walking tours, for sitting on the ship's deck, for enjoying outdoor cafes and wine tastings. Yes, you might get some rain. Pack a light rain jacket. But we found that even rainy days in shoulder season are more pleasant than sweltering summer days. And here's a bonus. Shoulder season cruises cost significantly less than peak summer sailings. We're talking 20, maybe 30% less for the exact same itinerary, the same ship, the same ports, the same excursions, just better timing. And because there are fewer tourists competing for everything, you get better value everywhere you go. Restaurant reservations are easier. Shop owners have time to chat. Local experiences feel more personal. You're paying less and getting a better experience. To me, that's the definition of value. Peak summer river cruises book up fast, sometimes a year in advance. And if you want a specific cabin category or itinerary, your options are even more limited. Shoulder season gives you more choices, more cabin availability, more flexibility with dates. When we booked our September cruise, we had our pick of cabin locations. We could choose the exact dates that worked for our schedule. We weren't competing with hundreds of other people for limited spots. That flexibility alone makes shoulder season worth considering, in my opinion. Now let me break down the specific seasons so you can choose what works best for you. Spring is my favorite time to river cruise Europe. Late April through May gives you incredible scenery. Everything is blooming. The countryside is bright green. The tulip fields in the Netherlands are spectacular. The weather is mild, usually 60s to low 70s, perfect for walking tours and outdoor activities. And here's what makes spring special. You're experiencing the season when locals are excited about warmer weather too. The outdoor cafes are opening. The gardens are coming to life. There's an energy and an optimism in the air. The only downside? Early April can still be chilly and you might catch some rainy days. But late April into May is usually gorgeous. Look, I'm not saying you should never cruise in peak summer. Some people prefer it, but you need to know what you're getting into. Peak summer gives you the longest daylight hours. Useful if you want maximum time for exploring. The weather is warm and predictable, but you're also dealing with the biggest crowds, the highest prices, and the hottest temperatures. Every popular attraction will be packed. Every charming village will be overwhelmed with tourists. If you can only travel in summer because of work schedules or other commitments, river cruising is still better than most alternatives. If you have some flexibility, I would choose shoulder season every time. Fall is the other prime shoulder season, and it's spectacular. September into October gives you harvest season in wine regions. The vineyards are stunning with fall colors. The weather is still pleasant, again, usually in the 60s or 70s. And here's what makes fall special. You're experiencing the harvest. The wine tastings feature fresh wines. The local markets are full of seasonal produce. There's a celebration of abundance. We did an October cruise on the Danube, and it was magical. The forests were gold and red. The villages were celebrating harvest festivals. The food was incredible. The only consideration, late October can get chilly, especially in the evenings. So pack some layers. But the trade-off is worth it for the scenery and the cultural experiences. Winter river cruising is a niche experience. Most itineraries focus on Christmas markets in November and December. If you love Christmas markets, this is your season. The markets are charming, the mulled wine is flowing, and the festive atmosphere is pretty wonderful. But winter cruising does have limitations. The weather's cold, so you're going to need warm layers. Daylight hours are short. Some excursions are limited by the weather. And here's the big one. Water levels can be unpredictable in winter. Low water might require itinerary changes. Winter cruising works if you specifically want the Christmas market experience and you're comfortable with cold weather. Otherwise, I'd recommend shoulder season. So how do you actually choose when to go? Let me give you a framework. You want beautiful blooming scenery, mild weather, and a sense of renewal. Spring is perfect for first-time river cruisers who want ideal conditions. You want harvest season experiences, fall colors, and wine-focused itineraries? Then fall is perfect for foodies and wine lovers. You have no flexibility due to work or other commitments, or you really want maximum daylight hours? Just book early and prepare for crowds for summer itineraries. You specifically want the Christmas market experience, and you're comfortable with cold weather and potential itinerary changes. Then you choose winter season. If you have flexibility, book late April through May or September through early to mid-October. You'll get the best combination of weather, crowds, pricing, and authentic cultural experiences. That's when we book now. And honestly, we can't imagine going back to peak summer cruising. Here's one more timing tip that most people don't think about. Book your cruise for the middle of the month, not the beginning or the end. Here's why. River cruise lines offer scheduled ship repositioning and maintenance at month transitions. If you book the first or last sailing of the month, you're more likely to encounter operational issues or last-minute changes. Mid-month sailings are usually smoother. The crew is in a rhythm, the ship is operating at full capacity, everything runs more seamlessly. It's a small detail, but it can make a difference in your experience. So here's my advice. If you're planning a European river cruise, seriously consider shoulder season. Late April through May, September through mid-October. You'll avoid the crowds, you'll get better weather than peak summer, you'll pay less, and most importantly, you'll experience the authentic culture that makes river cruising so special. If this helped you think about timing differently, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, please. I share honest, practical advice about cruising, specifically for empty nesters who want meaningful travel experiences. I've spent this entire series talking about river cruising, and I know some of you are thinking, okay, but how does this actually compare to ocean cruising? Which one's right for me? That's exactly what I'm covering in the next video. I'm doing an honest comparison between river cruises and ocean cruisers. They're not even the same type of vacation. I'm I'm breaking down the real differences in experience, atmosphere, activities, and value, and I'm helping you figure out which one actually matches your travel style as empty nesters. Because here's the truth. Both types of cruising can be amazing, but they serve completely different purposes. And choosing the wrong one can leave you disappointed. Please drop a comment below and tell me, have you cruised in different seasons and what was your experience? I'd love to hear what timing worked best for you. Thanks for watching. Here's to choosing the perfect time for your river cruise adventure. I'll see you in the next one.